The Mothman of Point Pleasant, West Virginia's winged prophet, a winged creature with glowing red eyes, terrorized a West Virginia town, then vanished the day 46 people perished in a bridge collapse. Long before Point Pleasant, West Virginia becomes known for anything else, it becomes known for the creature. The encounters begin in November 1966, in the darkness, along the Ohio River, in the abandoned munitions storage facilities left behind from World War II. What follows is one of the most intensively documented paranormal encounter waves in American history. Over 100 sightings of a winged entity that defies conventional explanation, reported by credible witnesses across 13 months, investigated by serious researchers, and ending with one of the deadliest bridge collapses in United States history. The TNT area sprawls across several square miles north of Point Pleasant. During World War II, the federal government constructs massive concrete igloos to store explosives. By 1966, the facility sits abandoned, the igloos empty, the access roads cracked and overgrown. The area becomes a lover's lane, a place where young couples park in the darkness along the network of service roads threading through the facility. It is in this landscape of Cold War ruins that the Mothman first appears. The initial encounter occurs on November 15, 1966. Two young couples drive through the TNT area late at night. Near one of the abandoned power plants, they observe a large figure standing near the road. As their headlights illuminate it, they realize it stands between 6 and 7 feet tall. Its body appears gray and humanoid, but massive wings fold against its back. Most disturbing are its eyes, large, round, and glowing brilliant red. The creature turns toward the car. The driver accelerates. What happens next establishes the pattern that dozens of subsequent encounters will follow. The creature takes flight, pursuing the vehicle at speeds the witnesses estimate exceed 100 miles per hour. It follows them to the Point Pleasant city limits before veering away into the darkness. The four witnesses arrive at the Mason County Courthouse shaken, insisting on making an official report. The local deputy who takes their statement finds them credible. All four are known in the community. None has a history of attention-seeking behavior. Their fear is genuine. They remain visibly shaken hours after the encounter. When the deputy's report reaches Mary Heyer, the local correspondent for the Athens Messenger, she conducts her own interviews. The witnesses provide consistent descriptions. The details match across all four accounts. Heyer publishes the story. Within days, Point Pleasant becomes the center of something unprecedented. The encounters multiply. Through late November and into December 1966, dozens of witnesses report seeing the creature. The sightings cluster in predictable locations: the TNT area, the river bottoms along Route 62, the industrial areas north of town. The physical description remains remarkably consistent across independent witnesses who have no contact with each other. The entity stands between 6 and 7 feet tall. Its body appears muscular and gray. The wings, when folded, are not immediately visible, but when extended span 10 to 15 feet. The eyes glow red, described by multiple witnesses as hypnotic or paralyzing. The creature makes no sound during flight. Witnesses consistently report a profound sense of dread that persists for days after the encounter. John Keel arrives in Point Pleasant in late November 1966. A journalist and author specializing in anomalous phenomena, Keel approaches the case with systematic rigor. He spends months in Point Pleasant, conducting extensive interviews with witnesses, examining encounter locations, and documenting the developing pattern. What he discovers transforms the case from a simple cryptid sighting into something far more complex. Keel documents that the Mothman encounters are accompanied by a wave of associated phenomena. UFO sightings increased dramatically in the Point Pleasant area through 1967. Witnesses report strange lights over the TNT area, disc-shaped objects hovering over the Ohio River, and aerial phenomena that defy conventional aircraft capabilities. Multiple residents report visits from men in black, individuals in dark suits who appear at witnesses' homes, asking detailed questions about their encounters before departing without explanation. Telephone disruptions become epidemic. Witnesses report strange clicks, voices speaking on the line when no one has called, and conversations that seem to be monitored. Keel himself experiences these phenomena. His hotel phone malfunctions repeatedly. He receives strange calls in the middle of the night. His investigation becomes part of the pattern he is documenting. The encounters follow recognizable rhythms. The creature appears most frequently between dusk and midnight. It favors isolated locations, but occasionally appears in more populated areas. On several occasions, motorists driving along Route 62 report the creature standing in the road, forcing them to swerve. It appears on rooftops. It is observed standing in fields. One witness reports seeing it perched on top of a chemical plant storage tank. The encounters are brief, rarely lasting more than a few minutes, but the psychological impact is profound. Witnesses describe feeling watched for days afterward. Some report nightmares. Others experience poltergeist-like phenomena in their homes following encounters. Mary Heyer maintains a contemporaneous record of the sightings as they are reported to her. Her documentation provides crucial corroboration for Keel's research. The witness accounts she records independently match the patterns Keel identifies. The consistency across dozens of independent reports becomes one of the case's most compelling features. These are not embellished stories that grow in the telling. The witnesses are farmers, factory workers, teenagers, law enforcement officers. Many are reluctant to report their encounters, fearing ridicule. The descriptions remain stable and consistent. Gray Barker, a researcher specializing in UFO phenomena and paranormal encounters, also investigates the Point Pleasant wave. His documentation focuses on the connection between the Mothman sightings and the broader pattern of anomalous phenomena occurring in the region. The picture that emerges from the combined research suggests something far stranger than a misidentified bird or mass hysteria. The encounters represent a genuine phenomenon, unexplained by conventional analysis, affecting an entire community over an extended period. Through 1967, the encounters continue. The creature is sighted dozens more times. The patterns remain consistent. The fear among Point Pleasant residents intensifies. Some avoid the TNT area entirely. Others arm themselves before driving after dark. The national media begins covering the story. Point Pleasant attracts curiosity seekers and researchers. The town becomes synonymous with the winged entity that appears from the darkness. Keel develops an interpretation that remains controversial but intellectually rigorous. He proposes that the Mothman and the associated phenomena, the UFOs, the men in black, the telephone disruptions, represent aspects of a single complex intelligence. He suggests this intelligence is interacting with the Point Pleasant community in ways that defy conventional understanding, manifesting in different forms according to some pattern researchers cannot yet comprehend. Whether this interpretation is correct remains debatable, but it represents a serious attempt to make sense of genuinely anomalous data. Then, on December 15, 1967, the Silver Bridge collapses. The bridge connects Point Pleasant to Gallipolis, Ohio, spanning the Ohio River. During rush hour traffic, an eyebar in the suspension chain fails. The bridge deck plunges into the river, carrying dozens of vehicles. 46 people perish. It is one of the deadliest bridge collapses in American history. The community is devastated. The disaster dominates everything, and the Mothman encounters cease. The timing is impossible to ignore. After 13 months of intensive activity, after over 100 documented encounters, the sightings stop immediately following the bridge collapse. Witnesses who have seen the creature multiple times report no further encounters. The wave ends as abruptly as it began. Many Point Pleasant residents interpret this timing as evidence that the creature's appearances were warnings. They believe the Mothman was attempting to communicate something about the impending disaster. Whether this interpretation is valid or whether the association is coincidental becomes one of the central questions in American paranormal research. Keel publishes his findings in the Mothman Prophecies in 1975. The book becomes the definitive documentary source for the case, establishing the encounter wave as a landmark in paranormal research. His systematic documentation, the consistency of witness testimony, and the association with the Silver Bridge collapse give the case a weight that separates it from typical cryptid reports. The Mothman becomes part of American folklore, but the case rests on genuine documentation, not myth. Point Pleasant embraces its history. A statue of the Mothman is erected in the town center. A museum documents the encounters and the bridge collapse. Annual festivals celebrate the phenomenon, but beneath the commercial aspects, the original case remains genuinely mysterious. The physical consistency of the descriptions across dozens of independent witnesses resists easy dismissal. The concentrated timeframe and geographic clustering suggest a real phenomenon. The sudden cessation following the bridge collapse raises questions that remain unanswered. Subsequent sightings are reported in the Point Pleasant area over the following decades, but nothing approaches the intensity of the original wave. The encounters of 1966 and 1967 remain unique. A concentrated encounter wave involving a large winged entity with red eyes, documented by serious researchers, witnessed by credible individuals, and ending with catastrophe. The Mothman case establishes Point Pleasant as a center of American Appalachian supernatural research and gives the phenomenon international recognition. The case endures because it resists simple explanation. Mass hysteria does not account for the physical consistency across independent witnesses. Misidentification does not explain encounters involving close observation at distances of a few feet. Hoax does not fit the witness profiles or the reluctance many showed in reporting their experiences. What remains is documented testimony from dozens of credible witnesses describing encounters with something unexplained, something that appeared for 13 months and then vanished, leaving only questions and the memory of red eyes glowing in the West Virginia darkness. If you found this case compelling, subscribe to Vanishing Roads for more documented paranormal investigations from around the world. This story was created with AI assistance based on documented case files. All events reference real investigations and reported incidents.